back to the special edition of CNBC-TV18 Conversations. I've been speaking with Peter Koerte, the Chief Technology Officer and the Chief Strategy Officer at Siemens. You've looked at the Indian power sector reasonably carefully. What are your observations? Because India is dependent on coal a goodish bit, and it's also an extremely politicized sector.
Yes.
It takes a lot to disentangle.
Yeah.
So what's your vision? How do you think India should work its way towards green energy?
So first and foremost, there needs to be, of course, the incentive scheme put forward for renewable energy to set up further solar plants, which you do, right? The second one is a massive investment into the grids, because the larger the grids become, the more actually you can balance the loads, in particular between different geographies. So this is like a HVDC, so really high efficient transmission and distribution. And the last one is indeed regulation, making regulation more efficient between different states, which we learned already today, this morning, that there's a lot of work ahead of us.
How close is Europe, or for that matter, human civilization, to green hydrogen? Is it something that is round the corner? What's the pace of progress?
Yes, so green hydrogen, and thank you for saying green hydrogen, is, so the technology is there, it's expensive still, it comes down when the cost per kilowatt. The general belief is it will not really start before 2030, and it will become more mainstream by 2040. So I would say there it is a little bit further way out. We see some demonstration pilot plants being built, but there's a long, long way to go. Okay,
no instance in Europe where it has been, it's closer, it has been achieved at least on a pilot?
Yes, absolutely. We even at Siemens, we built a 5 megawatt plant in Germany, which really is producing hydrogen now. So for them, it's fantastic. But look, these are, 5 megawatt is very, 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 very small, right? And so there's way to go.
Okay. There are a lot of Indian companies, at least two big groups, who are betting on green hydrogen. Making it affordable, of course, is the big challenge.
And India has a huge potential because of all the sun hours that India has. Making India an exporter of hydrogen can be really a very precious export good. So in that sense, the thinking is very, very good. We have to industrialize the manufacturing processes for building those hydrolyzers, which are still too expensive.
Okay. Well, the other interesting part of your presentation today was industrial metaverse.
Yes.
Now, from my more, untechnology standpoint, we only know of metaverse for entertainment.
Yeah.
Now, how much has industrial metaverse really come into existence? And even if you can break it down for our viewers, what exactly is industrial metaverse?
Yeah. So the industrial metaverse, first off, what does the industrial metaverse do? The industrial metaverse is actually solving real-world problems in the digital world at lightning speed, much faster than in the real world. The building blocks of that industrial metaverse are really the digital twins that we spoke about, because they are the representation, for example, of this room, and you can simulate. The idea is that to every, let's say, facility, a hotel, a factory, you always have the replica running in parallel to this. Why does it matter? Because with that you accumulate knowledge over time, so you can go back in time and can see when something happened, something broke down on the shop floor, and you can look into your data and say, hey, this is what happened. Or because of simulation, you can look into the future and think about what is here to come. So why do companies like it? Because it really gives them higher flexibility and faster response times when they do it on the shop floor. We've done it to ourselves yet again, to our own factories, and the factory that we just built was based on a digital twin and now becomes a metaverse because it does run in parallel. And it's 20% more productive, 40% more flexible. So it really, really has paid off.
So you're saying that it's very much in use already?
It is in pilot stage, similar to what we just discussed for hydrogen. It's in pilot stage. It's in particular popular with industries that have high capex again, and that are under time pressure. Aerospace, automotive, battery manufacturing. These are the areas that are most interested in those digital twins.
Okay, but you see it spreading?
It is spreading around the world.
Well, I saw your demonstration of the robotics and, the digital plant. From an India point of view, it was practically without any people. Now, that seems to be almost not very good in terms of social justice. Would this advance of digital technologies, digitalization, and maybe industrial metaverse lead to a situation of fewer jobs for the very well qualified and maybe an army of unemployed?
Yes, it is always a genuine concern to everyone, because this is, as humans, we're always afraid that the technology can substitute us. If you look at history, though, the examples or the numbers would prove you different, in the sense us humans different, that it always has created to more productivity and to more employment than less. Think about the robot that happened on the shop floor. We still are far away from a dark factory that completely works autonomous without any human interaction. But even if it were, you still have all the mechanics, all the people that commission it, all the people that do the maintenance and so on. So the work has shifted, and the work has shifted, I would say, to a higher level of what humans are really good at. That is problem solving, creativity, communication, inspiration. These things are good. We are not particularly good at repetitive tasks, doing it same day in, day out. If you have ever worked on a factory line, doing something repetitive 8 hours, 5 days a week, it really, really limits your mental capacity. So in that sense, we free this up, and we look at it more as a positive than as a negative.
Okay, that's very good to hear. But do you often encounter these problems in factories and companies you deal with? That the workforce is aging, you have brought in state-of-the-art digital technologies, and the workforce is not able to cope, so there is the resistance. Do you encounter these problems?
Yes, we do, all the time. As a matter of fact, every digital transformation is somewhat meaning that the humans have to transform. We think about it in 3 different ways. Number one, the technology has to become simpler. So, for example, we have a tool that's called Mendix, which does low-code software development. So you and I, without having a computer science degree, very easily we can program our own software, right, without understanding the source code. So technology becomes easier. Number 2, lifelong learning, upskilling, reskilling is something that has to happen everywhere, because that notion of graduating from your vocational training or from university will not last for an entire life. And then the last one is really the transparency that digital transformation gets. And this is the cultural element, that sharing is better than protecting. And data is usually seen by everyone. So that is the cultural change that has to happen when we do these digital transformations.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear if it can be mastered by aging populations. Well, finally, I wanted to ask you, you have seen the world in terms of many countries approaching Siemens for both digitalization and decarbonization technologies. What's your sense? Is a country like India and a continent like Asia up in the race, or do you think we will get left behind in digitalization? How do you see the response from India?
I must say I'm so excited about what's happening in India. And the reason being is, if you think about what you have in India, it's first and foremost, you got the people. You got 1.4 billion people that are, many of them speak the language, English, that are young, that are hungry, very important. That has you have so many software skills and competence in this country. Now, what you are building is you are building the hardware equivalent to this, right? Semiconductor, data centers, electronics, and so on. So you all have it in your own hands. So when I look about India, absolutely, you have that right to win. You have the capabilities, and I think also with all the regulations coming, all the incentive schemes that are coming, they are definitely going in the right direction. So I see a very, very bright future for India.
Very good to hear that. And on that note, thank you very much, Peter Koerte, for joining us and for taking us through all the cutting-edge things that are happening in the world of digitalization, decarbonization, digital twins, and what excited me most, industrial metaverse. Thank you very much for this conversation.
Thank you, Lata. Thank you very much.